Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How about a round of applause for our WHS Symphony and Mr. and Mrs. Costello. Thank you very much to everybody for being here tonight for the class of 2022 commencement ceremonies for Winchester High School. How about the first round of applause? Is that fixed? There we go. Got 15 batteries below this podium, so we'll make it work. How about the first round of applause for the class of 2022 graduates? At this time, we'd like to call up the Winchester High School Chamber Singers for our national anthem.
Song back to back, you guys. Okay, it's right after it.
Okay, what's the plan? What's the plan?
You know the part?
No, we're actually
Hey, Ben.
Guys, I invited them.
My other seniors, come on. All the chorus seniors are going to sing this. You guys can sing. We open our arms, so all is going to be conducted by Serene Megaditian.
With pride.
Thank you to our WHS singers, our chamber singers, and a big thank you to Mr. Buford as well. So good evening, and it is a fine evening. Good evening to all the Winchester families, friends, staff, Superintendent Hackett, school committee members, and of course, good evening to all of our WHS class of 2022 graduates. Most graduation speeches go something like this: salutations, inspirational quote, a story or two, inspirational quote, advice, well wishes, and conclusion. Now, I know you would all really expect some sort of inspirational quote from me. Tonight, that would be on brand, of course. And certainly a worthy speech these days may cover the topics of the pandemic or global politics, etc. But sometimes I like to zig when you expect to zag. So this evening, I'd like to go old school and pull out the classic that begins with Webster's Defines. Although, since the audience in front of me has probably never needed to use a Webster's dictionary, we'll start more appropriately with Google Defines. Google defines tonight's event as a commencement. And as the French language scholars in our graduating class will attest, the word commencement, as defined by Google, is a 13th century French word meaning beginning or start. Therefore, if you look at tonight's event as an ending, you might have come to the wrong event. Though for sure, this is a personal perspective. Shout out to the student speaking after me. This is not the end of learning. This is not the end of competition. This is not the end of asking tough questions. This is not the end of self-reflection, the end of friendships, or the end of opportunity. This, my friends, is just the beginning. The journey you're about to go on is about to expand. It changes, it evolves, and tonight is just a step to something greater, something far grander than you ever thought about even 4 years ago. The doors to the world are about to open wide to you. Whether you accomplished everything you set out to do at WHS in the last years were very quick, or today marks a blessed relief from the long, slow, trudging years and challenging days of high school, you are all still just beginning. And many people up on this stage tonight and in the audience would love to trade places with you for a chance to be able to take on the world as you are all about to do. If we've learned anything outside the classroom these past few years, it should be that life changes quickly and things can be taken away from you in a blink. Now, you're all too young to make a bucket list, but you should make a list of the things you want to do, the places you want to go, the places you want to visit, the wonders you want to see, and the places you want to explore. And then once you make that list, go. Don't wait. 4 years ago, I told you your time is now, and many of you took me up on that. But your time is absolutely now if you've been waiting. I just saw Kate Bix, one of the singers, in her mortarboard, said something that really inspired me, just briefly. It just said, nobody is stopping you now. And that's true. I'm editorializing and freestyling right now. But nobody is stopping you now. Have an adventure. Try new things. Take risks. Calculated, fairly safe risks that require you checking in with your conscience that kind of sounds like your mother's voice from time to time. Get out of your current comfort zone and live. Take on the world as though you have nothing to lose, but always remember you are somebody else's something to lose. As you do this, keep in mind that the world is yours if you want it. Love with an open heart and listen to people who are different from you without judgment. But most importantly, live. Live life to its fullest and squeeze out every ounce of juice that you can. I have faith in each and every one of you that this is not the peak and that you will walk through the open doors of life and take whatever high peaks come in front of you and whatever your journey may bring. And when you are on your journey, don't worry too much about looking back. You are loved here, and you are forever part of your town and your school. No matter where the journey continues to take you, you will forever be a part of Winchester High School. We wish you all good luck. Thank you and congratulations. For our next speaker, we'd like to call up Miss Judy Lee, the National Honor Society President.
last time I was up on stage speaking as the National Honor Society president, it didn't go as planned. Not only did I stir up a few laughs when I said leadership, but Miss Chocoladar warned me shortly afterward not to laugh or giggle when giving my graduation speech. Here's to you, Miss Chocoladar. I can't make any promises, but I will try my best. Good evening, respected teachers, administrators, families, and the amazing class of 2022. First of all, thank you. To the teachers and faculty, thank you for fostering our love of learning. To the parents and guardians, thank you for supporting us every step of the way. And finally, to the class of 2022, thank you for a memorable 4 years and congratulations. We did it. All our hard work has finally paid off, and I have no doubt we will continue to thrive in the near and far future. It is truly my honor to be speaking here tonight. Much to the nagging of my dad asking me if I finished my speech or not, I realized I was procrastinating writing it, just like I've been trying to hold off the thought of graduating as well. But here we are, with a finished speech and an ongoing graduation, as this chapter ends and another will begin. Starting last week, everything seemed to be one of the last. The last time rushing to get an E-Block library pass, the last day of high school, last senior week, last car ride home in Roberta, shout out Serene, the last question of the day from Dr. Spencer, last time going to school together, unless you're Kira Mitchell, go Bears, and the last day as students of the Winchester High School. And the last time saying the Winchester High School. But if we're looking at the glass half full, without a last, there cannot be a new first. For some, it will be the first day we've been away from our families and our homes, another first day of school and choosing that first day outfit, the first time we are separated from our families. Sorry, Mom and Dad, I'll call you every night. The first time doing our laundry, which I'll need help with, and the first time being independent and on our own. As much as I would like to cling onto the familiarity of high school, I know that the world outside of Winchester High awaits all of us. Our 4 years have pushed us beyond our imaginations, and I'm confident that our next steps will continue to do so. Hey, if we can successfully survive a pandemic and also find parking in the student lot every day, then I know we can get through anything. Serving as NHS president, I've gone through planning an entire talent show and trying to make sure members attend our 8 a.m. meetings. Not an easy task. Not only have I learned more about the NHS pillars of leadership, scholarship, character, and service, but most importantly, I realized that no matter what challenge you face, do not lose your curiosity. Do not be afraid to venture forth into your lives, to explore the depths of yourself and the people around you, and to pursue your passions, to rediscover the magic of learning and to share it with others, to find new lifelong friends and form meaningful connections. So hold your head up high and do not forget what your experiences at Winchester have taught you. Forge your own path and regret nothing. But as you do, sorry, I was supposed to take a pause because of the train, but I didn't. Sorry. I lost my point. Okay, we're just gonna start in the middle. Sorry, Miss Chocolate. I failed my one goal of the day. Okay. Do not be afraid to venture forth in your lives, to explore the depths of yourself and the people around you, and to pursue your passions. To rediscover the magic of learning and to share it with others, to find new lifelong friends and form meaningful connections. So hold your head up high and do not forget what your experiences at Winchester have taught you. Forge your own path and regret nothing, but as you do, act in the name of kindness. As my speech comes to a close, I'd like to say my final goodbye. In the song, Here's to the Night by Eve 6, they say, here's to nights we felt alive. Here's to tears we knew you'd cry. Here's to goodbye. Tomorrow's gonna come too soon. Although this night can't last forever, and trust me when I say I wish it could, The memories and impact you've all had on me will. I will truly miss each and every one of you, and I cannot wait to see what you will achieve in the upcoming years. So let this not be a goodbye, but a see you later. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Our next speaker is Camille Clark. She's the Student Council President.
Good evening, faculty, family, friends, and most importantly, the class of 2022. My name is Camille Clark, and I am the president of Student Council. And it is an honor to deliver commencement address for this impressive groups of classmates. On the behalf of the class of 2022, I would like to begin by thanking our families, teachers, and friends whose unwavering guidance and support greatly contributed to this special achievement. You have empowered us to believe in ourselves, inspired us to dream, and touched us with kindness. Thank you for these wonderful gifts. My fellow graduates, congratulations. We are now officially alumni of the Winchester High School. We have all accomplished one of the major early milestones of our lives, high school graduation. Many people will say today marks the start of our journey. I beg to disagree. Our journey began 13 years ago when we entered kindergarten. But today happens to be when the path we've all been traveling together splits into 345 unique ones. Up until now, we have been a team. We have done it all, and we have done it together. Our graduation serves as a launching pad, projecting us wherever our futures are meant to take us. Whether we enlist in military service, take up a trade, or continue our education at a university or a technical school, I have no doubt that each and every one of us will be successful. Our high school diplomas alone symbolize our commitment, hard work, and perseverance, attributes that will open exciting opportunities for us. But as we stand at the edge of the next chapter in our lives, dreaming of the possibilities, we are often asked the daunting question, what do you want to be? I challenge each of us to answer a new question. Who do you want to be? An occupation or title does not define us, as those are likely changed, and do not necessarily illuminate the quality of our character. The qualities we possess as individuals, however, do. In the coming years, we will develop and evolve as people. There will be great triumphs, exciting experiences, and dreams to chase. Unavoidably, among these moments, there will also be failures. Life is about trying new things and being okay with not always succeeding. We can learn a great deal about ourselves and our capabilities within moments of adversity. Remember, each of us possesses special qualities. Embrace them. Express what makes you unique. It often takes courage to be your true self, but by doing so, we will ensure that each of us makes our own individual mark in this world. Class of 2022, let's do this. I promise that.
I think your family's right up in the right-hand corner, so give them a wave.
Okay.
Thank you, Camille. Our third student speaker will be Brian Cavanaugh, class president.
Sounds good. Oh, yeah, of course. Looks about right. Hello to my fellow peers, faculty, family, and friends, and good evening. Wow, I cannot believe we have really made it here. It feels like just yesterday we are taking our first steps into the newly built high school with its High School Musical staircase. You know, I've had some thoughts recently. I've been wondering, what did it take to get here? I like to think of our time at WHS as a sailing trip. 4 years ago, we climbed into our boat, the seemingly huge WHS, scared as we did not know what our future entailed. Older and bigger faces looked at us as we aimlessly navigated to class. Right off the bat, we quickly raised our sails, trying to catch wind to find a routine of balancing coursework and extracurriculars. We were also prompt to learn that we are at the Winchester High School, a name, yep, 3 for 3 right there, a name that Mr. Mahoney pressed upon us right as we launched through the doors. Our time managing skills became our compass, a tool that kept us on track even when the future was unknown. With our compass, we knew to make time for keeping on track and getting to know our crewmates, all of us who were here for the ride. We hit our high seas when late nights and early mornings forced us to push ourselves beyond our comfort zones. The challenges that we faced sharpened our senses and made us better students and people. However, at the end of the high seas came gusts of wind that kept us moving. Friday night football games, music concerts, class dances, musicals, and many other events kept us afloat. These gusts of wind brought all of our greatest memories and friendships. All of a sudden, right after our sophomore year semi-formal, a terrible storm hit. And wow, then came the longest 2-week vacation ever. All of our crewmates shrank to the size of a screen, and all we could do was watch Netflix for hours, trying to escape from the treacherous weather. Without warning, our boat was empty, and we were lost and alone. As the shores of junior year came into sight, the gales died down and the skies began to clear. Our crewmates returned to their own boat, each spaced 6 feet apart, of course. Although it was not an ideal situation, we felt like our journey had been saved and our fleet was united. Eventually, we all hopped into our original WHS boat, ready to see what the final stretch of high school seas had in store for us. Although the tempest we endured was terrible struggle for so many, it also made a very positive impact on our class. With the idea of we are all in this together, callback, we strengthened our knots and supported one another more than ever before. We began to cherish every moment with each other, seeing how valuable our time was and not taking a second for granted. This past September, we turned back to our land. On the final push home, we made sure to spend as much time together as possible. Coursework and extracurricular activities picked back up to their normal level, and it felt like everything was finally getting back to smooth sailing. Coming down the stretch, we had a lot of amazing events. Masquerade, Royals, all of senior week, and then prom all provided us with time to be together. And here we find ourselves finishing our sail on this, well, not gorgeous night, but nice, peaceful, cloudy night. calm water, and a time of reflection on our amazing 4 years here together. Winchester High School has taught us to never be afraid to raise your sails and set off onto a new voyage full of opportunity and adventure. It has taught us how to work together and navigate through the rough seas. WHS has helped us grow as people ready to captain our own trip in life, never fearing our dreams, but instead conquering them. Hold on to all the good times here made at WHS, but do not be afraid to take on the open seas yourself, as your next journey is the best one yet. Congratulations, class of 2022. We did it, and as always, stay groovy. There you go.
How about another round of applause for Judy, Camille, and Brian? Before we begin our faculty address, which will be a very special faculty address for a lot of people here tonight, I'd like to have a round of applause for our DPW, our police department, our staff, most importantly, and everybody that was involved in putting tonight together. This is not an easy undertaking. Many of you know our next speaker is our faculty speaker as voted on by the students. He spent a number of years at the Lynch School in many capacities. He is currently our assistant principal at Winchester High School, and it's Mr. John Dupuy.
Excuse me for a second. Need some water. Thank you, Mr. Mahoney. Good evening to my WHS colleagues, parents, family members, and friends of our 2022 Winchester graduating class. I would like first to begin sharing my appreciation for all of you. I've been lucky and fortunate enough to be in education for the past 20 years within our Winchester school system. Our seniors sitting before us would not be here this evening without the collaborative effort put forth by all of us and all of you here in attendance. At the beginning and end of each day, we all want our students to not only be academically challenged, but happy, safe, and healthy. Without parental, family, and staff support, we would not be able to achieve these goals we set at the beginning of each year. Each of the previous 4 years have looked very different from one another. Your tireless effort and work to make sure our seniors had a normal of a high school experience as possible has been handled with care and grace. I wanted to use this moment personally to say thank you to all of you. Seniors, you excited? All right, here we go. This is to you. As your assistant principal, I am humbled to be standing in front of you on such an important evening. Many of us have shared over 1,000 days together. Many days were spent together inside WHS. Some were spent through computer screens. That's where I put UGG. Some while you're performing on stage or competing for our school on the playing court, field, or ice. Some of your moments may have been, how do I say this? Spending some quality time with me in my office. Okay. We've shared many goodbyes, some tough learning moments. We've shared way more high fives and fist bumps that I can count. Tons of smiles and the occasional tear or two or three. There are some of you sitting here tonight who may have been students in Winchester since preschool. Many of you began here later in your school career, and for some, this is your first year at Winchester High School. Whether you've been here for your whole career or just arrived, you hopefully understand that we have a special school and a special community. A community where we not only care about our WHS students, but everyone. We care about our teachers, our support staff, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, and many of the future WHS students we saw walking through town tonight. As teachers and parents, we increasingly giving you responsibility and upped expectations for you. As you move forward to life after Winchester High, these challenges will become more frequent and more real. You've already begun to face these situations that will require you to make decisions that feel monumental. Sometimes at a moment's notice, you'll have to ask yourself, should I say yes or should I say no? Should I go, should I stop, or should I just slow down? Should I stay quiet or speak up and say something? Graduating from WHS may feel like an ending, but really, and not to sound cliche, you are just approaching the starting line of an incredibly exciting next journey. So not only Brian and I share the same height, but it seems like we like analogies. I'm gonna stick to the land instead of the sea. So as you begin your adventures after WHS, my love for a good analogy, I want to think of them and your future adventures as some bike rides. Bike day had me thinking of this last week. Part 1, approaching the starting line. I want you to pause, take a deep breath, eyes up, and start pedaling. Get excited, use your senses, and look around. Survey the scene, be self-aware of the path ahead. Notice the environment and conditions around you. Being unsure of your route is okay. Nervousness is normal. Your anxiety can be a good thing. This means you're preparing for your adventure. Your days, your moments, miles ahead will go by very, very fast. If you get out of breath or see a hill up on the road that looks like it has put in front of you and it looks a little too steep, it's okay to stop and just take a breath. Observe, read the situation before you head up the hill. Make a concerted effort to think ahead. Use your past experience from your other steep hills you've climbed in your life. Are there consequences up ahead? Could someone get hurt? What should your pace be to accomplish this challenge? What happens if you're not at your best self? So before you start cursing or yelling at the hill, control what you can control. Don't create more work for yourself that could jeopardize your ride to your finish line. Realize how much of an impact your words, your comments, or your emails, or your texts have not only on you and your future, but on the people around you. Don't forget to pause, think, and pedal on. Part 2, watch out for your potholes. There's some that you'll see coming and some that appear right out of nowhere. Along your ride, you will hit one and you will fail. Your fall may not be getting that job you had your heart set on. It may be a grade next year that wasn't what you expected or you thought it wasn't fair for you. It may be a breakup. Whatever it may be, there are many certainties in life. The sun's going to rise in the east, it'll set in the west, and you will experience failure many times. It's unavoidable. The question is, will you prepare yourself? What will you do when you fall? When learning to actually ride bikes in my family, we have a saying, and it's very simple. If we fall down, my daughter's here somewhere, if we fall down, we get back up. We've continued to use this saying in our family for all aspects of our life to help us persevere. Now, getting back up, it's not always that easy. It may take you a few minutes. You may need to just wipe your hands and tend to some bruises. However, getting back up may take you the rest of the day, and it may take longer. You'll likely need to heal some larger wounds. Some of those wounds everyone will be able to see. Some of those wounds no one will ever know about. It's especially important to know and be confident that allowing someone to help you and heal those wounds and be able to talk about it. Next time you head down the road, be mindful of that pothole or your fall. Just like you've done with your steep hill, make a note, reflect, make adjustments. Maybe you drive around the hole next time. Maybe you take a new road, or maybe, more excitingly, you build a huge ramp, toss on a helmet, throw some sunglasses on, toss on a cape, back up, pedal your blank off, build up some speed, and jump over your pothole. Families and friends of our seniors, please be there for their falls. Just lending a hand to help them up and listening without judgment can be life-changing. And seniors, never forget to get back up. Lastly, 3, continue your ride and crossing the finish line. Our hope as you cross your Winchester High finish line and set your sights on approaching your next starting line is that you move on not only as a more descriptive writer, a better public speaker, more confident in your math knowledge, an expert historian, a more refined artist, or a beautiful musician, but it's how to collaborate with others and be a positive team member. This is a skill you will need throughout your next chapter and on your next ride. Along your next route, you'll experience people who just happen to be on that same course with you. You will encounter riders who are going at different speeds, riders who look at you, they sound different and have a whole different approach to the road. And there'll be plenty along the way that tell you your route's all wrong. However, there are also others who will cheer you on and support you. Even better are the riders who are going at the same pace with you. And if your directions are off and you're veering away from your finish line, you want those riders that are going to give you advice, get you back on track, and look out for you. Sometimes they're going to be brutally honest with you and tell you how far off track you really are. But these are the ones you want by your side. Who knows? You might even be that person who gives the proper directions or advice in helping a rider and a friend back on track. Use these rides, experiences, challenges in your life when supporting a friend who needs someone to talk to or just sit when they're having a tough day. Use these experiences to know how important it is to look at someone in the eye, to smile at them, and ask them, how are you today? As you finish your ride, cross the finish lines, don't forget to look back on your route, the views you had, the falls, the adventures. Take some selfies. Post some pictures, blog about it, do some TikToks, I don't know. Get together with your families and friends, rest, recover, and start planning your next ride. Lastly, a heartfelt thank you from me to you. Thank you for all your hallway conversations. Thank you for your updates on everything happening outside of school in your life. Thank you for being respectful when we've had to have some difficult individual conversations. Thank you for the memorable field days. Shout out Lynchies. And even helping me expand my ordering at Starbucks. As individuals in a class, you have made me a better educator, a better father to my own children, and a better person. You have continued to inspire me to make sure I'm reflective in my own daily practices, all in support to make sure that I and our administration team and staff are at our best each day for you. None of what we do is perfect, but hopefully you all leave here tonight knowing how much we actually care and how much effort goes into our daily thoughts about what's best for you, our students. So seniors, as this ride ends and you move forward, please know how extremely proud I am of you. It's now time to cross our finish line. So smile, laugh, dance, scream, shout, celebrate. With acceptance, appreciation, peace, and most importantly, love, congratulations. Thank you.
It's about that time. You want to get your cameras ready. We're about to dispense with the diplomas. We'd like to thank Ms. Costas and Ms. Palacios, who are here tonight to help pass out the diplomas, as well as announce the student names. So as we begin,
Mahia Agarwal. Sophia Ahmad. Maya Magdalene Albanese. Mallory Elizabeth Aldrich. Carissa May Anderson. Aiden Marie Andrews. Peter James Andrews. Dylan Anthony Anstead. Catherine Rose Armstrong. Roxana Catherine Arnett. Sophie Patricia Atkinson. Eamon Ayaz. Ahmed Ayaz. Chloe Bashir. Jonah Martin Barry. Dylan Alexander Basin. Diva William Batarse. Emma Catherine Shimizu Beach. Charlie James Bella. Ronnie Rose Bella. Milana Isabella Bellatuano. Annika Marguerite Bergstrom. Ava Rose Bergstrom. Catherine Marie Bix. Victoria Bogomilova. Tyler Reese Bonnet. Claire Whitney Book. Alex Blaine Boscovich. Fiona Siobhan Broderick. Vivian Kate Brooks. Madeline Ainsley Buck. Andrea Alessia Budiu. Stephen Cow Birchfield. Kendall Avery Butler. Katie Sears Byrne. Noah Aiden Cafferkey. Anna Cajoni. Devin Olia Calnan. Sean Benjamin Campbell. Callie Elizabeth Carter. Amelia Ann Casasa. Sean Edward Casey. Tom William Casey. Michael Burke Cashel. Alessandro Cella. Thomas Henry Centarelli. Eric Chen. Tabitha Jane Chen Fisk. Ellen Elizabeth Grinchpan Chang. Jenna Yakwa Cho. Gia Alexis Christakis. Alyssa Renee Christian. Sophie Hannah Park Chung. Ava May Chachio. Molly Ann Champa. Grace Emily Chula. Jason William Clark. Camille Alicia Clark. Brian Ton Claxton. Ethan Erasmus Kobold. Zoe Isabel Coleman. Star James Correa. John David Crowley. Audrey Yongzi Kui. Saranae Nevarte Cunningham. Ananya Sandeep Dalal. Naya Pearlching Daly. Maya Daniel. Isabella Rose Diagazio. Charlotte Ann DeLucia. Madeline Elizabeth Dengler. Cole Albert Dente. Anna Lane Devlin. Olivia Ann DePietro. Jack Fitzpatrick Dobbins. David Henry Dodge. Amelia Reagan Doherty. Liam Michael Doherty. Connor John McDonald Donahue. Jack Landy Donahue. Lynn Ann Dubman. Cole Bain Dowdle. Colette Catherine Drain. Tyler Daniel Sonor Drawn. Hannah Dew. Gavin Joseph Dunlap. Henry Lowe Duplessis. Maxwell Connor Durand Morris. Ripley Dybowski. Emily Bevan Egan. Etta Corbeck Erdomush. Marley Brune Exantis. Jad Zane Farah. Caitlin Jingyi Chen Foss. Thomas Gerard Ferreira. Dylan Patrick Flaherty. Eli John Fercucci. Nico James Fortier. Margaret Claire Fortin. Lucy Stella Ellen Freeman. Daniela Maria Fritsch. Clara Elizabeth Fuller. Maeve Sydney Gallagher. Derek Paul Jancy. Patrick Charles Goglin. Madison Carolyn Goldberg. Nico Sebastian Goluboff. Andy Shea Goslin. Jack Yanjia Guo. Joseph Main Haddadin. Cole Marois Hannon. Kayla Nyoke Harrison. Tristan Nicholas Henning. Catherine Elizabeth Hurley. Sean Joseph Holland. Delilah Shinyu Hop. Aaliyah Nalani Horn. Andrew Michael Houlihan. Alan Huang. Tyler Ono Hudgens. Enna Husainovich. Ava Elizabeth Hires. Zachariah Ibrahim. Anu Smith Ajajodia. Isaiah James. Daniel Jiwoo Jang. Izzy Octavian Jankovic. Jessica Yu Jin. Larry Wenlang Jin. Tucker Asoff Johnson. Thomas Andreas Yerkunis. Charlotte Sullivan Cadison. Isabel Ann Kamakawa. Muskan Kapoor. Brian Patrick Cavanaugh. Kira Lynn Kabajan. Carmen Celia Kelcourse. Thomas O'Brien Kelly. Anna Lauren Kelly. Trace Christopher Kenrick. J. Ronald Kinsicki. Meher Mitesh Keswani. Daniel John Kachadorian. Aya Mosen Cater. Noah David Kim. Ian Kimpton. Hope Therese Kingdon. Madeline Elena Kinsborn. Shannon Elizabeth Kirkpatrick. Carly May Kapala. Susan Elizabeth Kotwicki. Devin Lenore Crayer. Emily De Silva Kulikauskis. Larissa De Silva Kulikauskis. Niall Barnett Kerhayatz. Ellen Pryor Kerr. Alan Schwab Lage. Farah Yvonne Lamontagne. Erin Rose Langridge. Alexandra Carolina Lara.
Arthur Anran Lee. Eric Hujan Lee. Jeffrey Kunwan Lee. Maya Claire Leonard. Julia Rachel Levine. Yona R. Levine. Amy Lee. Anna Hengji Lee. Boshen Lee. Judy Lee. Evan Lin. Huyan Liu. Julia Grace Labello. Zoe Meng Long. Pause. know, right? Throwing me off my rhythm here. Good. Nino Lucetti. Amy Chenwen Liu. Olivia Yinning Ma. Luke David Macanuco. Julia Marie McDonald. Richard Tobias Mack. Maxwell Allen McKay. Allie Marie Mafera. Anika Mahesh. Declan Martin Mahoney. Trevor Edward Mahoney. Felicia Michaela Marino. Maria Anita Martinetti. Brenda Hanson Martino. Mark Matarosian. Luke John Mason. Vaikunthan Sivakuhan Mathialakan. Henry Joseph McCurry. Samuel August McDonald. Kelly Ann McDowell. Connor Joseph McGagan. Sean Patrick McGagan. Kelly Lucille McGonigal. Can I go? Joaquin Connor McManus. Sareen Marie Megardichian. Mia Christine Mybaum. Cassandra Jane Manunos. David Meow. Oscar Eugene Matelski. Alex Larkin Miltz. Shannon Alicia Miranda. Kira Brown Mitchell. Tyler Christopher Moe. Brooke Lynn Maloney Kohlenberg. Quincy Jackson Moore. Will Owen Morris. Prisco Pio Moscato. Jude Paul Munson. Zachary Lars Naley. Xander Carl Nardone. Ara Kavork Naroian. Lydia Nadreka. Amelia Claire Nicholas. Lucy Kleinkopf Norman. Jet Brian Nugent.
Caroline Durbano O'Callahan. Emma Catherine O'Connell. Aaron Brian O'Connor. Brennan Joseph O'Connor. Fiona May O'Flynn. Amy Serena O'Neill. Jackson Edward Paula. Luz Paulo Garcia. Nicholas George Panis. Rosie Pulaski. Marquesa Fiorella Petri. Quinten Rudolph Pinar. Sean Ali Parecha. Nicholas Alexander Potter. PJ Powers. Babia Patricia Prakash. William Aiden Preston. Sophia Senyak Prokops. Ajani Nathaniel Prophet. Calvin Doxum Pruitt. Elaine Yunshu Ran. Fasil Ijaz Rana. Samuel Faithon Rao. Isabella Rascu Casas. Paul Joseph Reed. Ratika Rawani. Sophia Lynn Rich. Ana Maria Alejandro Rios. Jeffrey Paul Russo Jr. Isabella Grace Ryan. Madeline Joy Ryer. Charles Shearer Rinn. Molly Elizabeth Rinn. Reed Stoddard Salyards. Alex Owen Sansom. Dylan Scott Sharn. Jackie Rose Schlesinger. Jasper Rutskoff Schultz. Maggie Senlensky. Margaret Adelaide Senzig. Madeline Grace Sheehan. Brian Chen. Rachel Mallory Shepard. Emma Elizabeth Slatala. Cameron Alexander Smith. Spencer Michael Smith. Ava Madison Summers Bridge. Maximino Fernandez Spadaro. Nick James Stein. Tim Keen Stevenson. Lily Mae Stone. Napoleon Benicio Suderman Canas. Philip Thomas Chagru. Alex Sun. Jasmine Lingjun Sun. Sophia Anita Sutherland. Varan Swaminathan. Jeff Tan. Easton Tan. Noah Sebastian Taylor. Isabella Carolina Tedesco. Christina Grace Tam. Matthew Edward Thomas. Jason Christopher Tien. Melina Cecilia Totterman. Philip Sy. Emmanuel James Charujas. Luke Sinan Ulisny. Apurva Apul. Zoe Vallis. Ali Villalobos Topete. Cecilia Villalobos Topete. Sean Vo. Katie Michelle Vozella. Laura Shabbat Wagner. Hannah Margaret Waldron. Samuel James Walsh Cook. Matthew Wagner Walton. Athena Wu Wang. Nathaniel Holbrook Watson. Ian Keir Watt. Glenn Edward Welch. William John Westerfield. James Dolphin Wheaton. Duncan John White. Austin Whitney. Kavinda Oliver Wickramasinghe. Henry Charles Wilson. Sophie Grace Wilson. Alex James Wood. Christian John Wood. Lucas Wood Wright. Kelton Wu. Spencer Wu. Kenny Yun Zhu. Jason Alexander Yen. Arissa Jazz Yu. Jennifer Yuan. Michelangelo Jeremiah Vittorio Zampieri. Arthur Jane Zhang. Donna L. Zhang. Ellery Ching Zhang. Chloe Anying Zhao. Lane Tracy Zimmerman. Sawyer John Zuzanek. Anastasia Zvereva.
Mr. Dupuy, would you like to do the honors one more time?
What am I reading? All right. Just read this part right here. Right there. All right, seniors, graduating students, please rise. I'm going to wait for all of you. I got you for 2 more minutes. Hold on. You're still ours. Just kidding. Please move your graduation tassels from the right side to the left. Having met all the standards set forth by the Massachusetts Department of Education, together with the graduation requirements of the Winchester Public School District, I now present Winchester High School's Class of 2022.
Congratulations, graduates. The rain is starting just in time, and that's all we have for the ceremony tonight. Thank you very much. Best of luck and good night.